I'm not sure if you want me to answer the questions as Dan,
that's right, yeah.
me, or if you want me to character Kayfabe. I am Dan the Man Wenzel, 10-time FFW and 3-time WFW heavyweight champion. We started 5 years ago, and initially it was just we'd play the video game, and it was 4 or 5 of us, and we'd play, and whoever at the end of the night won the match, we'd have one match every pay-per-view, and whoever won the game at the end of the night would go home with a belt, and then we decided to bet on the wrestlers. Let's start at the end of a pay-per-view. After each pay-per-view, we draft 5 WWE superstars. And based on their matches on Raw and SmackDown, they gain or lose points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the month goes up against the current FFW champion. And whoever guesses the most correct on that night walks away the FFW or the WFW or the Intercontinental champion. I don't like using the term fake when it comes to wrestling. I use the term predetermined. The league kind of stopped looking at wrestling that way a long time ago, and I think that's what makes it interesting for us. We look at it from a company perspective. So Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, they look at who's going to win as who can sell the most t-shirts, whose face looks best on the Today Show every morning. So we don't look at it in terms of, who can kick the shit out of the other guy. We look at it in terms of who is best for business, what victory will progress a person's storyline. It's not quite like calling fantasy football or fantasy basketball, because those players have stats that you can kind of follow and predict a little better, which makes it interesting and also very frustrating at the same time. Basically, so we started betting on matches, and one day my friend, Natural Selection, I don't know if he wants me to ever speak his real name out loud ever again, but Natural Selection cut a promo, which is basically a video of how do you beat a madman? You become a madman.
Now you'll have to excuse me, Professor, because I'm on my way to a funeral. It's your funeral.
Then there's Prodigy. Now I've still not gotten my match against Prodigy.
That was just the first of many, many, many of my title defenses for my world heavyweight, undisputed, universal, mega, ultra, fantasy world championship. And me, I felt very left out, so all of a sudden you saw Dan the Man Wenzel cut his first promo, and that set that all off. I keep feeling like I'm talking about myself in the third person, which sounds very pretentious, but Dan the Man is a character. He's not, there are shades of me, yes, certainly, but he's not, it's different.
If I could make days last
I've had enough of this bullshit. This is a State of the Union FFW address.
But I would say that actually he's motivated out of justice. So Natural Selection is the heel, the bad guy. And Dan the Man is the yin to his yang, and he's trying to be the balance, and he's trying to be the justice where there is Natural Selection's injustice.
It's an interesting thing with natural selection and I. We have been friends for 8 years now, and then we actually got in a pretty heated real life argument, and natural selection and I didn't talk for about 6 months or so. But that day that he cut a promo, I was like, oh man, I kind of miss this guy. And so I cut a promo as kind of like a reach out type of thing. And about a month and a half later, we were friends again. The lines of reality and kayfabe become very blurred when it comes to the league. We're fighting over a piece of plastic, and I realized that, but it was kind of a way for the guy who is never really good at sports or who can't actually be a football player, wrestler, blah, 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 to get a little bit of acclaim, to get a little bit of an accolade. It's a nice little win for the human being as well as the character. When you have the belt as a person, I display it on my dresser. Hey!